Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Wellness Coach on Blog Talk Radio. Excuse me, I'm your host, Edie Summers, and I am very excited today. My very special guest is Margaret Moore, and Margaret Moore is the founder and CEO of Wellcoaches. And some of you might have heard me talking about this. Of course, my show is named The Wellness Coach, and my very first show I talked about what is wellness coaching, and I'm hoping to maybe we can get a clearer definition from Margaret today, since she's the leader in this field. So of course, wellness coaching is this amazing field that's been around for, I'll have to confirm with Margaret, I think it's been maybe a little over 10 years now. But before I bring, well, actually, Margaret, let me ask you that question, and then before I introduce you here, officially introduce you, what is the length that wellness coaching has been going on for? It's brand new, isn't it?
Yes, well, thanks, Edie. It's great to be here. Yeah, I was. I do remember the day. I started in 2000, so that's 14 years ago, and built the first school of coaching for health professionals. And there were four of us back then, Michael Orlowski, Bob Merberg, Sean Slavensky, and me. And we all did different things, but we were the original band of coaches in healthcare. My background is, in fact, in the biotech industry.
Right.
So I grew up in the field of high-tech medicine and came into seeing coaching, and really I had a vision, which is that we needed a new professional across the spectrum, clinical healthcare, right across to consumer wellness and fitness, that could really help people change when change is hard. And our ability to change our lifestyles and to live in a way that serves our health has never been harder. So this is a much-needed skill set for the world today.
Yes, thank you. And that was very well said. Thank you. And that I feel very. When you describe it that way, it kind of lights the fire underneath me. And isn't that kind of the point? Is to get people, or is to assist people in getting excited and motivated and passionate about changing some health habits. Isn't that sort of the whole?
Well, we are
here?
really leaving a huge amount of human potential on the table and behind us, because there are two important data points that are compelling, actually three. One is that 95% of us don't engage in the top health behaviors, so things like being at an ideal weight, exercising regularly, eating a Mediterranean diet, drinking moderately, not smoking. So, and all of those behaviors are known to prevent chronic disease and lead to a longer life and a longer health span, in that, more years with great health. So that's first point. The second, though, which I think is the bigger one, is that 80% of the population are not thriving mentally. Roughly 60% are surviving, which means just, barely with your head above water. And then another 26% at the bottom are languishing or even depressed. And we now know that chronic negative emotions, all by themselves, impair the gene expression in the immune system. They stress the nervous system. They stress the endocrine, the hormonal system, that lead us to be prematurely vulnerable to whatever our biological flaws are for a particular chronic disease. For some of that becomes diabetes, for some it's heart disease, for some it's chronic pain. So wherever we've got weak links in our genes, then the chronic negative stress is going to find those, create additional stress, and speed up the process of us getting ill. And so we need more positive emotions, and we need better ways of handling our negative emotions so that our health is better. And then just there's an interesting study out right now in the heart attack world, where the question was, people who exercise after a heart attack do much better. Their risk of getting another heart attack and dying early is significantly reduced. Well, a new study just shows that what in fact is the stimulus for that to happen is that people have to have a sufficient level of positive emotions in their lives to start exercising. So they have to be more hopeful and optimistic and purposeful and loving their life and connecting with people and doing what they love to do. And they need to be thriving more. And then they just naturally want to exercise, which then improves the disease condition. In fact, both do, the better mental health and physical health. So we have a lot of room for improvement, both in terms of the physical side and the mental and emotional side. And also we need to pull them all together as a package because they're all intertwined. And so today, 14 years later, we've now got robust curriculum for teaching coaches how to help clients do this, both at basic and advanced levels. And Wellcoaches has trained almost 8,000 coaches in 47 countries. So it's a small army out there that is really helping people thrive more.
Absolutely, and thank you for mentioning that. I want to do. There's so many points, of course, that you mentioned there that are amazing that I definitely want to talk about a little bit more. And of course, I want to mention the book that you co-authored, "Organize Your Mind, Organize Your Life." Train your brain to get more done in less time, and which is a fabulous book. And of course, actually, you've authored many. You also co-authored the Wellness Coaching Manual that I read to get certified for Well Coaches, which is a wonder. I absolutely love that manual, by the way. But I'm going to do really briefly here, Margaret. I'm going to formally introduce you so that people have a background really briefly of where you're coming from. You mentioned some of it in the biotechnology industry, but I just want to give people a general overview. And then let's just, if you don't mind, let's dive just a little bit deeper into this amazing, vibrant field of wellness coaching, which is very much alive today. And we're all the wellness coaches here today we're ready for people to come on board with us and really to help guide people into a whole new level of living, essentially. As you were saying, there's like so much untapped potential.
There is. And the other theme, now that we know that we need to address both the positive emotions and the negative emotions in people's lives in order to get to a place where we have the capacity to change and be resilient. Because that's, the thing to say about the fact that few people are thriving is that what that means is that they just don't have the juice to change. Their confidence is low. And so even if you wanted to lose weight and manage your stress and get more healthy and get more fit, you can't because you're underwater mentally. And you just don't have enough positivity. So that's interesting. Now, the new book, the Organize Your Mind, Organize Your Life book, is a neuroscience-based book. It's a Harvard health book. I wrote it with a Harvard psychiatrist. And then we're actually writing the second book now, too, which may be called something like Organize Your Emotions, Organize Your Life.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, where we're getting at is we're getting enough understanding of how the brain functions, and I'd say it's very superficial understanding, but we're getting a much better understanding of how the brain learns and what the optimal conditions for the brain to learn are. And by that mean, so if you're going to change your life, change your habits, upgrade your way of life, that means your brain is going to change. The way that changes is via a collection over time of insights and ideas, which then lead to new connections in the brain. And over time, that creates a new network, and then you get to a place where you've really changed for good, where you've made lasting change. And now we have some sense of what the ingredients are. What are the conditions to allow that brain learning to happen? And the first Organize Your Mind book laid out a whole process around helping people tame the frenzy, the negative emotions, which impair the brain's ability to learn. They impair the ability to be focused, to deal with distractions, to remember, to be creative, to be strategic. So the negativity, it just doesn't make us feel bad and lead to chronic disease. It's actually harming cognitive function, and we have too much of it today. So we have to do that. Then we have to help people focus, and some of us have more creative minds where this is a bigger challenge. Some of us have very focused minds where this is, in fact, has a weakness on the other side because we tend to filter out the creativity, and we tend to, we actually are not good at being creative because we don't take the, we sit in this extreme focus for hours and hours a day. That's my challenge. So you got to know how to use your brain so that you get the right balance of focus and creativity. And basically the book has 6 steps that take you up to the big picture. So that book is in fact a model for a coaching session or a coaching process where we really simply are helping our clients organize their minds to get to the strategic big picture and grow, get onto a higher plane of existence in whatever domain we want to do that.
And so that could be another answer for what is wellness coaching, because did I mention this? This is the question I get asked all the time, and I really love the way you just described your book, Organize Your Mind, Organize Your Life. That's almost a beautiful definition for what is wellness coaching right there. It's kind of like kind of facilitating the process, organizing your mind so that you can exist at a higher level. Do you think that, to me that resonates with, because I always say it's changing your health habits. So.
Yeah, it is changing health habits. That includes mental and physical health habits. Yeah, but that's the what. Let's think about why, how, and what, even when. So, and who.
Okay. Yes.
So, start with the why. So, I think that first, wellness is kind of an abstract principle. In the dictionary, it says optimal health and well-being. Well-being says the same thing. Wellness is, health says the same thing. They all come back to this. This is optimal physical and mental health. Okay, so don't we all want that? So 2 points to make. One is optimal health is just the means to the end. The end is why the heck you care about it. What is it about your health that you treasure? Because it's not the end. It's the means. The means to have the life you want. The life you want is however you want to make a difference, whatever your legacy is that you want to leave, what your contribution, what your special gifts are, what the higher purpose of your life, which in itself is a form of positivity that improves immune system function, for example. So the why am I doing this, is actually the first question, because people don't value their health today. They put other things ahead because we don't stop and, first, once we lose it, then we do care. And it's a terrible, terrible crisis when we have a health crisis.
Exactly.
But you really have to start with why do I care about my wellness? Because it is not the end, and that's the starting point. This sounds like you want to jump in there, Edie.
Oh my goodness, no! I really love how you say that. That it's not that. So I think a lot of people do think, and this is I think been kind of my mindset as well, thinking in terms of wellness coaching, that it is the end, and it's not. It's just a beginning, and it's like a platform so that you can live your life at the highest level. It's becoming very clear to me now that it's a jumping off point. It's kind of like a new set point.
It is, it basically is saying, what's the next level of existence for me to be thriving? So here, let me say something about thriving, because I'm a biologist first, and so I think about, I think about, what are the principles or the biological forces within each of us that are our formula for thriving. So, for instance, for me, I have a real strong need for autonomy and achievement and adventure. Okay, that makes me a hard driving person. As opposed to others that might be more leaning towards creativity and relationships and spirituality. We've all got different particular genetic strengths, the ones that the dominant strengths in us. And what that means is that for me to thrive, I need to be using those and doing well with them. I need to be taking care of, the needs of all the different parts of me, my physical body, my achievement, I do need to be creative. I do need to have some spiritual connections, blah, 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 blah. So there's a set formula. Just like a flower has a formula to thrive, with the right amount of sun and soil and nutrients and water, and not too much wind. And when a flower gets everything it needs, what do you see? It blooms, it blossoms. It's the face of a flower just lights up beautifully. It's the same with humans. There's a certain set of conditions that allow us to bloom and blossom and light up, and it's the only person that can figure out what that is ourselves. It's an experimental process. Because our genes all got piled on top of each other. We got a little bit from Aunt May and another bit from, and they land in you as a human being, and you're trying to figure out what makes me feel good, like what makes me tick, what is it that makes me thrive, and then how can and that I call your life force, and then how can you pour that life force into something good that you really want to achieve in life? Whatever that looks like, raising a family, how do you take that life force which is born with, and how do you pour it into building skills and competency and achievement in places that matter to you, so that most days you say, darn it, I took what I'm good at and I used it well and I made a difference, and I am going to celebrate that.
And isn't the celebrating part is just as important as sharing your gifts and really getting in that zone with it's almost like that well-being does feel good. I just saw this the other day on the internet. It feels good, and I think that is part of the missing piece for people. And so some of the salient points here that maybe we really want to focus on is for the beginner who's just getting a grasp of what we're even talking about here is focusing on positive emotions, and we're building confidence, which is also known as self-efficacy. So, and that's what really gives you like you're saying, the ability, the juice to take your life to the next level, where you can then share your gifts with the world and contribute to the world. So, so I wanted to, if it's okay with you, Margaret, I want to take a really, really short break, and I'm going to come back and introduce you, and then let's go a little bit deeper into, I don't know, something that is, I'm open to anything. We have so many topics here, but I don't know if there's anything that you want to go a little bit deeper into. I didn't even know that you're a biologist. Maybe I did know that, but I'd forgotten. I love the gene expression part of this, that what is going to allow your body to express itself in the fullest capacity, but also turn off gene expression, right, in certain circumstances that we're going to prevent, at least hopefully give your body a fighting chance to prevent chronic disease down the road. So, again, we have amazing topics here. I'm going to take a short break and come back and introduce Margaret. You're listening to The Wellness Coach on Blog Talk Radio. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to The Wellness Coach on Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Edie Summers, and I've been having just the most amazing conversation with the very vibrant and very, I would say, self-actualized Margaret Moore. Margaret Moore has an MBA. She's also known as Coach Meg. She's a 17-year veteran of the biotechnology industry in the UK, Canada, U.S., and France. She served in executive roles at 3 companies, which later joined Sanofi and served as CEO and COO of 2 early-stage biotech companies. In 2000, Margaret shifted from high-tech medicine to coaching in healthcare and wellness and founded Wellcoaches Corporation, strategic partner of the American College of Sports Medicine, now a standard bearer for professional coaches in healthcare and wellness. The Wellcoaches School of Coaching has trained more than 75,000 health and wellness coaches in 47 countries. Margaret is co-founder with Carol Kaufman and co-director of the Institute of Coaching at McLean Hospital, an affiliate of Harvard Medical School, and co-course director of the annual Coaching in Leadership and Healthcare Conference offered by Harvard Medical School. Margaret's collaboration with Edward Phillips, MD, to create a Harvard Medical School CME program to teach physicians basic coaching skills led to the launch of the Institute of Lifestyle Medicine, now based at Joslin Diabetes Center, of which Margaret is an advisor. She is co-founder and co-leader of the National Consortium for Credentialing Health and Wellness Coaches, which is developing national standards and certification of health and wellness coaches. And again, Margaret has her book out that she co-authored with Paul Hammernes. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. It's called Organize Your Mind, Organize Your Life, Train Your Brain to Get More Done in Less Time. And, of course, I remember, Margaret, you saying that this is actually, you said it today in our interview, but also I've heard you say it before, that this book is really kind of like the first, it's a book on wellness coaching, essentially. So it's a fabulous book.
Well, it wasn't set out that way, although I was obviously invited to bring in the coaching piece. But what happened in my process of understanding what were the rules of order that my psychiatrist colleague came up with is it became clear that I could organize these in a way that actually mapped to what coaches do. And for years I've been saying that coaches help people organize their minds, that we help people go from psychic confusion and overwhelm, which most of us are in today, into order. And an individual session is always going from, I'm feeling chaotic and I know I want to up my game physically, mentally, and I leave at the end of the session with more energy. I'm working on a project with people with fibromyalgia right now, and you can imagine that when you start with someone with chronic pain, they are low. And our goal is to create a session and a series of sessions over time that, in fact, really bring out their life force and their energy. So that is coaches are basically people. We are biological beings. There's a recipe for thriving. It has to do with taking care of one's body well, good high octane fuel, and exercise, moving is perhaps the first of all of the wellness behaviors. And then, of course, you can get on to sleep and everything to do with negative emotions, mindfulness, self-compassion. So there's all those skills. And then there's the process of bringing order to chaos over time, so that people then get really clear. Okay, I want to thrive more. Maybe they may not want to set the bar at a 10 out of 10, but maybe they want to go from a 3 to a 6. I want to thrive more. I feel like I'm underwater and I'm leaving energy on the table. I'm not at my best. I'm actually not investing enough in myself to be at my best for others. And so how am I going to do that? And then they're experimenting over time with a set of habits. Coming back to your notion about you're changing your habits, and you basically just experience that and say, did that make a difference here? Did I feel more life in me? Did my eyes light up? Is there a spring in my step, or did that one not work? I did it for 2 weeks and nothing happened. And so over a span of usually 3 months or so, with a session every 1 to 2, 3 weeks, depending. I usually work with my clients once a month. Others do twice a month. Others do more. It just depends on the client and the coach. But basically over time, you're getting to, at least by 3 months, you really want to have a new formula for thriving, which is improving physical health, improving mental health, and improving your performance in your life. And then, of course, you can continue to build on that, so that a year from now, you really have overhauled your life, and you're accessing your life force. You are alive. You feel good. You are actively engaged in the things that make you feel good, and you've never done better at work and home. Here, often the belief is that people start with is that I can't put my health first because my performance in life will suffer. I won't have enough time for my family. I won't have enough time. I won't. And the other end of the growth, the higher plane of existence here is that you get to a place where you say, OMG, when I put my health first, I've never been better.
Yes, it really is the platform, and I wonder why. This is another reason why wellness coaching is works so well, and especially I would say the Wellcoaches model. You guys have really done your homework here. You've really come up with a formula. It's based on evidence-based practice, correct? That has a proven track record with, what was it, like 70% of people that you guys have worked with? It's phenomenal. I think that the issue here is that there is this place where people have gotten stuck, and part of it is like the primal mind, the primal brain that you've been talking about, right? Like where we get stuck in negative emotions and fear and anxiety and stress and all the things that that modern life, or primitive life, any kind of life is going to bring up. But we have the ability, and I would say wellness coaching is really great for this, to move beyond that and to come into to operate more from our advanced brains, right, our prefrontal cortex, where we do have the ability to filter out information and say, that's not real. This, I can focus on this instead. And what is it? Is it a 3-to-1 ratio of positive emotions to negative, or is it higher? Is it 5-to-1? It's really about creating more positive emotions and building that confidence level, so that we can
exactly.
make changes.
The purpose of positive emotions isn't just to feel good. It's because we need them in order to handle the negative ones. Because the negative emotions are our teachers. You know, those are the hard lessons in life, the things that don't go the way you want them, you know, that don't meet your needs, the things that make you feel whatever. Your negative emotions are simply biological messengers telling you that you have a need that's not being met. And
yes.
that is life. You know, you've got the positive emotions telling you needs are being met, and negative emotions telling you needs aren't being met. If you got too many negative emotions, then you got a lot of needs that you're not meeting well, and they're a sign that there's room for improvement. They're really you know, when a baby cries, it simply wants to be held and get its need met. And our negative emotions are similar. They're crying babies. They're looking to get their needs met. And the wonderful work by Kristen Neff, who gave us a recipe for handling negative emotions, where you basically lean into them rather than run away or deny or resist or avoid. And you really, you know, cross your hands over your heart and say, look, I'm suffering. I'm a human being, and that comes with suffering. And I feel overwhelmed today. I'm annoyed at something. I'm sad that this didn't work out that way. I'm afraid that, you know, I'm not going to get my bonus. You know, we've got all these emotions, and they need our care. They need our tender, loving care. They need us to sit with them a little bit every day, so that they can settle, and then the positive emotions can grow, which is that I am grateful for what I have, and I do see the silver linings here, you know, that I can be curious and figure out what to learn about the negativity. So you're basically learning. It's sort of, you know, in a way, in Dan Goleman's language, coaching is a form of building emotional intelligence, because we're helping people use their emotions as the signposts to tell us what's working and what's not.
Wow.
And what
helps
needs to shift.
Oh, God. And a wellness coach can be a mirror for you, essentially. I mean, a guide as well, but a mirror. Really, it's like we're kind of holding up a mirror so that you can see, oh, this is where I'm maybe a little bit stuck, and it's okay. It's okay. Like, we have tools. We have tools that we can meet these needs, and not only meet your needs, but move beyond that and thrive. So there's again, what we've been talking about, there's a whole other level that we can go to.
Right. So let me just pick up on that. So the reflection is an important one, because what we're doing is people are rushing around and they're not sitting and reflecting. So we create an oasis of a few moments where they really get to stand back and say, what the heck's going on here? And we're actually helping them sit with that for a bit so that they can get some clarity about a deeper understanding of what is really going on, instead of rushing around in circles. The second thing, though, is that the way we radiate our presence. So, for instance, you know, we are also role models. We are in a very mindful place. We are full of zest. We are curious, without judgment. We are compassionate. We're courageous. You know, we take a risk from time to time. We're fun. We have fun. And when you have two people whose brains are in sync in chemistry, they sync up. So that means that when we put out some humor and some zest and more confidence, for a moment, the client says, "Oh, I'm soaking some of that up. I'm getting a bit of it." It's like you're charging their batteries. So we're helping create the space for reflection, but we're also radiating out the human energies that help people feel better and not alone and more optimistic and more confident and more creative. So the way we are being is also delivering thriving, or more thriving, even in a session.
That is so well said, and thank you for saying that, for kind of reminding people that are already wellness coaches how they're, it is kind of like helping to charge someone else's battery and also being a role model, which is beautiful. And Margaret, I want to respect your time here. So I just want to, first of all, if anyone wants to either work with a wellness coach or become a wellness coach, how could they go about doing that?
So if you go to wellcoaches.com, at the top we've got our core coach training programs. There's a core one and then an advanced one. So those are listed there. And then in the middle you'll see a button called Find a Wellness Coach. And you can tour around across the country and look at the bios of different coaches. Or you can just come to contact us and send us an email and tell us what you're looking for. And we'll be there to help you.
Perfect. And I highly, highly recommend doing Wellcoaches for wellness coaching training as well, of course, if someone is thinking about going down that road. Go ahead.
Well,
you were
going
to say something.
Edie, we've been at it for a long time, and we're creative souls with big hearts, and
yes. We've
just done a huge upgrade of our core training, and, there's so much great new science coming out all the time that there's lots of new stuff to keep learning. So we welcome everyone, whether you want to become a coach or work with a coach. If you're feeling the itch to stretch, to stretch your brain, to, find your life source and get healthier physically, mentally, so you can kind of get up to the higher level of existence, then we're here to help you.
Wonderful, yes. And I can't rave enough about Wellcoaches. And Margaret, is there any kind of takeaway that you want to leave our listeners with, and also any upcoming events, anything that you just want to close with today that's maybe relevant for you?
Well, stay tuned. I've got a new book underway. It's the next Harvard Health book. It's based on a hypothesis paper that I published in July around the makeup of the psyche, and it's a whole new way of thinking about thriving. It's a blow your mind kind of thing.
Wow.
You can.
Can't wait.
I don't know if you have a way to post it on your website, but maybe we could do that. It's
sure.
It's still very much a new idea, but if you're just curious about, how the hell is the psyche made up, I've got an interesting theory about that, which will blow your mind and is beginning to be a whole new foundation for the way we think about coaching in the coming years. So that's my cutting edge, and I say that because I think we all have to have a cutting edge. You just can't stand still. One of the ways we thrive as human beings is to be ever learning and creating and doing new things and being curious and being engaged in the world and reading and staying fresh, keeping the brain alive. So that's my modus operandi, and I hope the same for everybody who's listening today.
Wonderful. Well, talk about a high note. That's very exciting, and I definitely can't wait to learn more about that. And I just want to thank you so much for being here today, Margaret. It's really my honor, and I just want to thank you for everything that you've done and are continuing to do in the field of we're talking about lifestyle medicine here. This is I don't want to open up another conversation here because I know you have to go, but really we're talking about this is a whole new way of that people can stay well is lifestyle medicine here. So I want to thank you for being a leader in this field and for sharing your gifts with us. So.
You're so welcome. Well, the reality is that at least half of our mental and physical thriving and performance is under our control. We have a lot to bring to this equation, and you got to get brain and body working together for the higher good. So you might want to share my Coach Meg e-tips that I just put out this week. As there's a link to that because I have some interesting ideas and a little music as well. So and a free webinar on how to make meaning of life.
Oh, wonderful. And your presentations, your webinars, your PowerPoints are fantastic, and I think you have a lot of those out. It seems I'm always finding something that I find very relevant. So, well, I'll go ahead and post those. I'll get the links from either from you or Kristen, and I just want to thanks again for being here, and I hope that you have a fabulous day there on the East Coast.
Well, thank you, Edie, for getting this together. It was a pleasure to meet you. I hope I meet you on the West Coast soon.
Me too. It's a pleasure to talk to you too. And yes, I just thank you again, and it's a whole new world, right? So
it is onward and upward, as I say.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Margaret. I will hopefully talk to you or see you soon. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good. Bye.
Bye.